Welcome, everyone, to the Inspirational Businesswoman Show. This is your host, Virginia Parsons, and we are about to have a joyful experience here with my special guest, Vernessa Blackwell. We'll be taking a look at joy restoration and setting yourself free. You can mute yourself if you'd like to, Vernessa, for a moment more. All right, hold on to your hats and we'll be getting started in just a moment. Welcome, everyone. This is Virginia Parsons, your Hangout mentor and the host of the Inspirational Businesswoman Show. And I want to thank you for being here today. You know, we've had a little bit of delay and technical difficulties, and yet we're going to persevere and get this information to you because I know that it's very valuable information. As you saw, we are going to be talking about the idea of joy restoration and how to set yourself free from times that may have been challenging, from times that could have been devastating. And I've got a wonderful guest here to talk to you just about that. Now, first of all, I want to just bring you up to date that the show is sponsored by hangout-marketing.com, where you can receive a complimentary Shine strategy session as a result of taking the live stream and Hangout marketing assessment. That's right. The assessment is available to you, and it is a way for you to look at what you currently know about live stream broadcasting and where you might need to make some improvements so that you can brand, grow, and market your business effectively and get the word out about your expertise. So if you'd like to take advantage of that assessment, all you need to do is go to 775-800-4179. Text the word success again to 775-800-4179. And if you happen to be out of the country, no problem. Just go to hangout-marketing.com and you can take the assessment there. All right. So I want to thank you for being here, whether or not you are live or in replay mode. We know that your time is valuable. So we'd like to hear from you. We have a comment section that's available to you, whether you're live or in replay mode. All you have to do is go in there and say hi and let us know where you're viewing from. We appreciate you taking the time because we know that your time is valuable. Now, let me take a moment to introduce our special guest coming up right now. And that is, as I said, Vernessa Blackwell. She is a joy coach. Do you love this? She is a joy coach, and her whole idea is to help bring more joy into your life when you've had setbacks or if you're just not feeling up to par. She is the founder also of the Grief Helpline, and she's going to share with you all about that and how she decided that was where she needed to be to bring her best service to the world at this point in her life. So here's what we're going to be discussing. First of all, how do you restore your joy after a loss or a tragedy or something that has really set you back? So that's the first hot topic. Secondly, we're going to really talk about the stages of grief because there definitely are stages that need to be worked through. And Vernessa knows about this firsthand. And finally, how about finding joy through your journey? Your entire journey should be a path that helps you embrace joy all along the way. And Vernessa is going to give us some great tips on that as well. So Vernessa, go ahead and unmute yourself and come on in and say hi to our audience. I think we need to get your camera turned back on as well. Okay, there you go. There's your camera. Now unmute yourself. Up at the top, you just click on that. There you go. We're in business.
Good.
Okay.
Good, great. Thank you so much for Virginia for inviting me to the Hangout Marketing show.
Oh, you are so welcome. And the Inspirational Businesswoman show, where we love Hangout Marketing, by the way.
Yes, it's such an honor.
Plug in there.
It's such an honor and privilege.
Something seems to keep muting you, Vernessa. I don't know if it has to do with your headset, if you're pushing a button muting yourself. We need you to unmute yourself again. There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I won't be touching anything. Just try to stay focused in on yes, but again, it is such an honor to be here to join you today.
Well, I'm just thrilled to have you here. And first of all, I want to be one to say congratulations, because you have a very special retirement coming up. And so you're starting what I would call a whole different level in your life. And so tell us a little bit about what you're retiring from and what you're moving toward.
Yes. The military, I've actually been in the military for 24 years. So
wow.
It's a long road.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I'm going to have to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I know from all of our viewers' hearts that you are, that you've given such service, that you've made, I know, huge sacrifices. And thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, but like I said, after 24 years, so the goal is to move into doing my grief helpline business full time. So I'll start my journey as the grief coach and start doing it full time.
And I love it. And you have such what I would call a profound backstory to this. Yeah. Because we don't go onto a path unless something has really guided us there, driven us there, whether or not we go kicking or screaming, or it's something that we're just passionate about, or the world has asked us to go ahead and share that passion. So tell them a little bit about that and how you became a grief coach and a joy coach. I like even better.
Yes. Well, I lost all my sisters and brothers. It was 5 of us, and I had 3 sisters and a brother, and they all passed away. My youngest sister passed away in 2014. And then also, so I became grief coach certified in 2012. Well, doing the transition with when she was going through her illness, that I kind of veered away from it. And, was continuing to do, I was doing like book and business expos. But God brought me back to the grief and joy coaching restoration services after her loss. My nieces and nephews kind of strayed away. My family started to take their own path. And I realized that it wasn't just my family that would go through these type of things and, in situations where people pass away during death. It seemed like, their family just took their own little, path. So this brought me back. And I said, okay, this is where, God was leading me. So I started writing my book. And I started writing in 2012. Actually, didn't finish it up I started writing in 2014 after my sister passed. Didn't finish it up until it just launched in November, the grief helpline. So,
well, first of all, I have to say I'm so sorry for your multiple losses. That is, first of all, so unusual to have lost every one of your siblings. So, and I'm assuming your parents as well. Is that correct?
Yes, both of my parents are deceased as well.
Wow. Well, so you've had to work through so much, but I'm going to sort of explore this a little bit further, because have you had experiences through the military where you also had to deal with grief and loss there?
Yes, because I was deployed in 2003. We went to Iraq. and we lost a soldier, one of our youngest soldiers. He was 21. Daryl Dent was killed in a bomb IED explosion. So that was, it was horrible. And still sometimes now, because like I said, I was diagnosed with PTSD once I came back from Iraq. And I don't think there's too many soldiers that don't have it really. But yeah, because you still have nightmares and think about, all the horrible experiences that we had to encounter while we were.
Yeah, I mean, I also have a cousin who that's what she counsels in, is PTSD for soldiers. She's been working out of Colorado, and I think affiliated with the Air Force Base. And it's she says it's devastating. You don't understand how paralyzing this is for our veterans, and how debilitating it is, and that it's a long journey back. It's not a quick recovery. So when we're going to be talking about these stages of grief and discovering how you can better embrace joy as you're going through the journey, that now relates to everyone in society, even though your losses have been very extreme, not the norm. But it does put you in a position that I think is brilliant, in that you've got to have learned so much about this process, how to get through this process in one piece, how to maintain your sense of who you are, your purpose in life, your balance, and as you say, find your joy through that whole journey. I think puts you in a very valuable position to give in a way you never would have perhaps thought you would be giving, to teach and share in a way that you probably never even envisioned or invited for yourself. But here it is, right?
Yeah, right. That's true. Yeah.
So I'm so grateful for you, and I'm so sorry for the experiences you've had, but I'm sure you would be the first to say that these experiences are what mold us, are what grow us, and are what give us the substance so that we can help a lot of other people.
That's very true. Yes, because like I said, and then the love of my life, Paul was killed in a car accident in 2007. So that is just like, wow. Yes, it was.
Yeah, so it just becomes to me quite clear that for whatever reason, these tragedies and difficulties that you have been through put you in a very unique position. And in a way, they become a blessing because you've decided to turn them into a blessing that can be of incredible assistance to others. So again, I'm praising you. I'm sending you love, putting my arms around, although as I know you are putting your arms around so many others on this journey that you're on now to help so many people. So let's get into that, because you are obviously one who is so positioned to share with people. How did you discover how to restore your own joy after your losses, and how can you share with other people how they can start to do the same? So take it away.
All right. Okay, so when you think about joy, you think about the birds and the bees. And when you listen to the birds sing, you listen to their songs, they have a distinct song that they sing. Yet each one has a slightly different voice. It's amazing when you spend time in the presence and listening to birds singing in their little hearts, and it's so magical and just pure joy. So if you think about the seasons, and when the seasons change, you also see God's true power of joy, unbridled. And to begin to understand the many facets of joy, we can look at the summer. What is the joy of summer? It's different, and what it manifests joy for the winter. We sometimes get caught up in our interpretations of joy due to our navigational hardships or our challenges with the cold and the rain. But to understand the concept of nature's joy, one must be willing to view from the elements' perspective. The bounty of snow that falls over the trees and the land and all between is amazing. The joy of winter is unbridled. There is no limit to brisk bone-chilling cold. It is powerful beyond measure. The awe provoked by the season almost is pure joy. Spring is another example of natural joy. The awakening of the buds and the sun, the fresh rain, and returning birds. summer is a different manifestation, against with periods of heat where you can almost see the heat lines, mixed with the searing sun, and then the balmy temperatures. That again brings us joy. Fall is joyful with the promise of renewal. I know when I see those leaves changing colors and that the process has begun for renewal. The blessed sleep of those plants and trees in, is true call for winter. So if you see the inner consecutiveness of the seasons, this is what we must put forward in the experience that we share and to share joy. We need each other as much in the summer as we do in the fall. To experience the thrill of summer, we must also experience the thrill of the fall. With embracing the differences that each of us have, we truly manifest abundant joy. It is in the giving that we get and the sharing that we receive. Joy surrounds and encircles us. It reaches out to us and it emanates from us. All one must do is accept its presence and share its goodness.
Wow, that's beautiful. And I've never thought of it that way. I've never thought about all the joyful aspects of the four seasons, and how when you just pause to experience the natural expression of the four seasons, that you realize there's joy wrapped in every one of them.
It is.
Because of the beauty of them. That's natural. Yeah. Even though, and now I think this is interesting, because even though winter can be harsh, and I'm hanging out here in Reno, Nevada, and we've had a darn harsh winter. On the other hand, when I look up at the mountains, the Sierra Nevadas have never been more beautiful. I've never seen so much snow up there as we have this year. And when the blue skies come out and the sun shines down, the whole mountain just sparkles like I've never seen it before. So the hardest of winters can bring such incredible beauty. And that's what you're talking about, is you find the joy in the different aspects of the seasons, where maybe there could be harshness with each season too, like the summer could be sweltering, and yet you can appreciate the joy of cooling off in a cool stream, or as you say, the joy of people gathering together, because that's what people do so often in the summertime. So I love that. And then the other thing that you were talking about is embracing and experiencing our differences and accepting those as also beautiful, and that they bring their own sense of harmony, their own sense of vibration into how we relate to each other, and that's another way to experience joy. So did I get that right?
Yes, you did. That was wonderful. You did a good recap.
Well, and again, my whole purpose in doing this show is to provide our viewers with, I call them a gold mine of inspirational tips, strategies, and advice. The idea being that if you can take one small nugget from a interview and a broadcast that I've done, that you can apply in your life with a whole different perspective or in a new way, or that's going to uplift you in some way and inspire your life to be even better than you thought it could be, then I've served my purpose. And so that gives me great inspiration. That's why I do like to recap, because I'm listening, I'm gathering your perspective, your expertise, and then I feel if I can re-express it, it's just one more way of people hearing the value of the information that you're providing. So I'm thanking you, and I think our viewers will be thanking you as well.
Thank you.
Let's talk for a minute about how you discovered the value of the four seasons in your own grief. Let's talk about how you started to embrace that to help move you through some of the paths of grief that you've experienced.
Well, like I said, doing in the military, I love to travel. So I have one aunt left on my mom's side, and so now I go pick her up and take her out of town with me. So we went to Myrtle Beach last spring, and it was beautiful. It was near my birthday, and she just had a wonderful time. And like I said, it was then when I really realized, I was just standing on the beach, because she didn't go down to the beach with me early in the morning, but I just walked along the beach, the sand and stuff. And I just looked back, and thought about, and then sometimes in the summertime, I sit on my deck and I listen to the birds. There's a lot of birds in the trees behind me. And I'll look at them and how they'll fly back to before night. all of them just start. I mean, there's thousands of birds in this tree, and I just sit there sometimes, and I have the patio door open, and I listen to them. The chirping and songs, and I mean, it's just amazing to me. But like I said, that it's God has a purpose for everything and everybody. So, like I said, once you learn what your purpose is, then you are more comfortable in sharing it with the world. And so that's why I said, like I said, I had to find out what was next for me. And dealing with all the grief that I've went through, I wanted to be able to help others to get through it because, like I said, it was difficult. It was not easy. And still, some days still have my moments. But I've learned and I started to use the tools that I found to be helpful in the process. And I wanted to share those with others. So,
Well, thank you. And I think you're again bringing some really valuable points home. Whereas you could get sort of overwhelmed with grief and say, why has all this happened to me?
that's true.
Why have I lost so many people in my life? Mm-hmm. And that, of course, is going to be a downer. I mean, there's no way if you dwell there on all the loss. It's not to say you're not going to be missing the people you've lost. Of course you will.
Right.
And you will always honor their lives and hopefully bring a sense of celebration into the life and the time that you had with them. Mm-hmm. However, if you hang out there too long, then you're taking the life out of your own breath in a way, or the breath out of your own life.
That is so true.
So what you have found is that by focusing on something such as the beautiful songs of the birds, and putting your attention there, that moves you into a different state. I would assume in some way it's elevating your vibration. It's elevating your energy because you're hearing that. It's that beautiful symphony of bird songs and you can think, oh my God, literally, oh my God, how did you create such wonder in the world? Mm-hmm. And you put your love and your expression into that focus, and suddenly you're not only uplifted, but you're in some way letting the grief sort of wash off your back. So I would call it like a water rolling off a duck's back. It's not that it's not there. It's not that the water's not there, but you're not holding it in a way that diminishes your own energy and your own capacity to feel joy.
Yes, that is so true. I wrote about that in my book because, like I said, some of the exercises I give challenges and tips and exercises that they can do. And absolutely, if you go to the beach and if you're laying on the sand, just say you just throw yourself in the sand and you lay there, you let the water just wash the sand off you, and it's such a relief. It's like the pressure as your troubles have been lifted, have been washed back out to sea. And you have to just find ways to do that, to celebrate their life, because you will never forget about them and they will always live on in your heart. But you have to move on because it's not your time yet. So you have to continue to do what God has called you here to do. And that's what I would say about finding joy in your journey. And do the things that as if they were still here, but to carry them tucked away in your heart and move forward. Because there's so many people that's young, they lose a husband or a spouse or mom or dad, and they feel like, oh, I just lost my best friend. Now I don't know where to begin. I don't want to start over, and that's the wrong answer, because life is meant to be enjoyed, and you should do it with someone. I mean, whether it's friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, build relationships, whether it's co-workers, or find someone to connect with and continue your journey, because the world needs what you have.
Oh, I totally agree with you. And I feel that we're all here for a purpose. As a matter of fact, I think we're all here for multiple purposes.
That's true.
And I think that the multiple purposes all kind of blend into the one purpose, and that is to be a light and be the love and to share that with others. And if everyone's doing that, there's so much more harmony in the world than if instead we focus on the negative. So you've given some good tools. I love the idea of the beach washing, across your body and just letting the grief sort of wash away with that. That's a really good image. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about these stages of grief, though, because how fast should someone really expect that they're going to stop feeling the real deep pain from a loss or tragedy?
Well, there are like 5 stages of grief. According to psychiatrist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross in 1969, she introduced to the world what she called was the 5 stages of grief. Over the So the 5 stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. I believe we all go through these stages when we're grieving. I also believe that some people spend more time in one or more stages than others. The thing is, there is no set strategy for grieving. We all go through the process differently. However, if we do spend time in each stage in grief, regardless of the type of loss we have suffered. Denial is a natural mechanism for dealing with loss. It takes place when we are unable to connect with the loss we suffered. So each stage of grief, people go through these and they stay there, for a period of time. And the funny thing is about the 5 stages of grief, you don't go through them in a set precedence. You don't, I mean, go through them 1 through 5. You might start dealing with depression, number 4, and then, go back to being angry because, your loved one left you and you felt that hey, we weren't finished, or, it shouldn't have stopped here. It was too soon. So like I said, yeah, with the 5 stages of grief, one stage could affect you, at any given time. Certain smells, certain traveling when you're traveling, certain thoughts, certain foods will bring about the memory, and it'll just put you right back there. So if you don't do something, learn to do something positive, when you're stuck, then to move forward, then you continue to struggle.
So I understand denial.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because especially if someone is taken from you suddenly,
Mm-hmm.
In a tragic accident, as an example, I can really understand that stage of denial because it's just so hard to believe. Whereas maybe you wouldn't hang out in denial as long if you'd had someone who had a prolonged illness that you were expecting that they weren't going to live. I would think that stage would be shorter. Although, as you say, it's different for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Anger as well, I think there's a lot of different reasons to feel anger when you lose someone. I'm a little confused about the bargaining stage. Can you give us a little more understanding of that?
Yes. For one thing, when my sister was sick, my youngest sister, because it was just me and her. So after my brother had passed away, my oldest sister passed away in 2012. She was the one prior to her. And I said, okay, let's just me and you. And so as she was, going through her struggle, because she had diabetes and a lot of other little illnesses. And so, but I would say to myself, talk to God. And I was like, God, if I could, just give my arm, I'd give my leg. So, if she would get up and be able to do the things that we used to do together, because it seemed like she was going downhill so fast. So I think that is one form of bargaining. When you say, Lord, this is what I will do, every time I'm trying to trade, or if I could have done it over again, or had it been 2 years ago, you're bargaining with the Lord.
I get it now. Thank you. How many times have I heard that expression? I'd give my left hand or my right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a way, I think that probably relates a little bit to denial, because you can't, that it's wishful thinking.
Right.
That it's something that helps uplift you out of the anger, if that might be the stage you're in, and to the point that you're saying, or at least Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who I actually saw speak at one time, and it was a profound experience many years ago. So that phase of depression may come early or may have a delayed time frame in which it sets in.
That's true. That's true, because like I said, with sometimes you don't be depressed about it right away because you're going through you're trying to process it. When you're learning how to process grief, you're just having all these mixed emotions. And like I said, it could be denial, could be angry, bargaining, accepting it that it actually happened. Now what are you going to do? How are you going to manage, after they pass away? So, yeah, so I think it's a lot of, all of them.
Well, I'm going to share a story, a true story, obviously, about my father and his passing, who I loved dearly. And he passed from leukemia, and he went through an extensive period of transfusions first, and then went through chemotherapy.
Wow.
And I was so sad and depressed because he had such a small chance of survival. And of course I'm what I'm getting at is I went through a lot of these phases before he passed.
Mm-hmm.
I went through the denial. Oh no, he's going to be fine. Then I went through the anger because, I just hated the thought that he was having to go through chemotherapy. It was poisoning his body in the attempts to heal it. And then, the bargaining, I don't remember that part as much, which is probably why I asked about that question. But then the depression and all of these phases came prior to his passing for me. Wow. And so once he passed, I actually went into a state of acceptance quite quickly because I felt that he was free. I felt that his spirit had been freed from the suffering and all that he'd been going through. And on top of that, I had this incredible dream about him before he passed, but that helped me with the acceptance because he was dressed all in white and he was with some of his best friends who had already passed. This was in the dream. And he was dancing and he was happy and he was just in a state of joy, which is what you talk about.
Yes.
And when I realized that was actually, for me, the prelude to his passing and realizing that was setting him free, it put me into a state of acceptance so quickly that, quite frankly, I didn't even have to go through all of these phases other than the sadness of losing him. But it didn't take me to a state of depression. But that's because of this profound dream that I had.
Wow.
That let me know he was just moving to a place that was so wondrous, that was so joyful, that how could I be anything but joyful for him? I thought you'd find that interesting.
Yes, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's the perfect example, because like I said, when you do, and I think God warns us, that's the preparation phase of when someone getting ready to pass away, and we be so stressed out about it, and then God is just showing us that just let go and let God, because we were all born, and it's one thing we do have to leave here one day, and like I said, it's the process though, it's hard, especially if your loved one is sick. And like you said, because like I said, we went through that with both my parents. My dad was sick; he had emphysema, so I was a daddy's girl, so I know I feel your pain. But thank you so much for sharing that. That is a beautiful story, and yes, we do find joy, because there's joy on the other side, and that's what we're trying to get. That's a joy we can never. Hey, that's the best joy ever, right there.
Well, I think so. And I wanted to share it because it helped me really process the information. And, for his what we did as a memorial service, it truly was a memorial service. And it helped uplift again to another level because we celebrated his life. He was a jazz drummer, and we ended up having what was called the Celebration Jazz Band come to his memorial service and play songs that he always loved when he was in the band, and the whole memorial service was happy and joyful, and powerful, and we all left, instead of feeling depressed and saddened, we left feeling joyous and celebratory for his life. So I just thought I would bring those in as different perspectives. I know everyone has their traditions, and so this is certainly not the normal tradition. But it really worked well for myself and our family. So,
wow, yes, that's awesome. Yes, celebration of life.
Yeah, that celebrates. All right, so let's go a little deeper into this third topic, because you already made reference to it, and that is finding joy throughout your journey. And this could be whether or not it's someone who has experienced the kind of devastating loss that you've experienced, or someone who's just had some times that are depressing. Or let's talk about some of the soldiers who have been going through the PTSD. And how do you help people focus on the joy on the everyday path that we all experience?
Yes. I feel that you find joy in, just like I said, especially after you deal with grief, and then you go through your celebration stage. I feel that you find joy by staying connected to God. Through prayer, through devotions, daily devotions, and learning to apply these things to your life will restore your joy after a personal loss.
So you're going to wrap it all up in this big, beautiful bundle, and that is make sure you're connected to God.
Yes.
So I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. And what are you going to say to those clients that you're going to be getting and that are going to be wanting you to coach them through it and are agnostic or even worse yet, atheistic? How are you going to help them if they say, I'm sorry, that's not going to work for me? What will work for them?
Well, when they're trying to survive their grief, because like I said, everybody goes with it and has to deal with it at some time. You have to learn certain coping mechanisms, skills and stuff. So as you learn to pray and with the coaching thing, I give them challenges, I give them steps, but it's done through a Christian biblical perspective. So we do use the Bible and quote scriptures, and they'll learn to draw because we color. Sometimes coloring is relaxing, so we do like relaxation therapy tools and tips in my book and my workbook. So I'll share all these things with them, and each week we build off of, okay, how did it go last week? Some people will get stuck, some people didn't accomplish that step yet, and so they're still saying, well, I didn't get there, or I didn't accomplish that. So we'll need you to go back and pick up where you left off. You missed that step. You need to color, you need to draw, you need to visualize, find that good place and go sit in the sun and relax. Just like I said, let your problems roll off. Roll away. Let all your troubles just roll away. Think about the beauty in the flowers. Now it's about to be spring, and yes, we are expecting a winter storm today, but next week, in a couple of weeks, right, it'll be the cherry blossoms and spring and the birds and the bees, and time to get outdoors. So those things, I think, like I said, celebrating them things will bring a whole lot. Will help you to restore joy.
Okay, I totally get it. And even though I know that you're coming from a Christian faith, which I do too, but I just know that people come from all different backgrounds and all different faiths. And I think if you would wrap that in what you're talking about now, that it is relatable to anybody on any level. And I think it's interesting that you talked about color therapy, because that I noticed, is a new trend. Adult coloring books.
Right, yes. And they are so, because I noticed my aunt does it, and she is so good with the coloring. I'm learning to stay in the lines, and it's just be amazing to me. I'm like, she's 70-some years old, and now some of the pictures, I said, Auntie, you actually could frame them. So I was like, so when I started working on my workbook, I said, I think this would be great for
looks like she just froze on us where we're getting that. So she's put, let's see if we can get Vernessa back on, but she's just saying that she's put this into her workbooks for people because it is very therapeutic and it is something that people can focus on. And the whole idea, I think, that she's trying to drive home to everyone is you take your focus and redirect it in a way that is going to take your focus off of the loss. Not that you'll ever forget someone who's dear to you, but you take your focus off the loss and focus it on something else that feels more joyful, more positive, and more powerful for you. So I think that you're going to find, if you yourself, you may not be experiencing grief at the moment, or you may not have had a major loss in your life right now, but you may know somebody who has, and you will at some time yourself. So be aware that these tools are available for you. Be aware that you can move into nature and embrace the beauty of all four seasons. And as Vernessa so beautifully put, make sure that you do connect with people, that you find other people that you can do things with, that you can share joy with, that you can find laughter with. All of these are positive, powerful ways to uplift your spirit, to bring more joy into your life. Find something that brings laughter into your life, and I know that that's going to help you experience joy on your journey. Now, we'll see if Vernessa can get back in for some final words, but while she's doing that, I do want to share her gift with you. And you can go get, she's got actually a worksheet or workbook checklist that you can take advantage of. And all you need to do to take advantage of her special gift is go to hmtips.com/Vernessa gift. Again, that's hmtips.com/Vernessa gift. And you'll be able to log into her site and see all the different books that she has written. She has like 6 different books that she has written around this topic that are available for you to experience. And perhaps, again, if they're not something that you need, they may be something that will help someone that you care deeply about process a loss and move from one of the 5 stages of grief into experiencing joy along the journey. So I want to thank you all for being here. I hope that you found this information as valuable as I have, and I hope you go out and apply it in your life or share it with someone else so that you can help uplift them. Oh, looks like she may be getting back on here. Okay, well, Vernessa, good for you. Can we hear you?
Yeah.
All right, we need to hear you. Yeah, unmute. Okay, when that happens, it takes your camera away. Vernessa, I'm going to close for you. I've already offered everyone the gift. And unless we can get your audio back on here, if you have a final word, otherwise I will say goodbye for you. Can we get your audio back on? Hello? No, we're not here. There it is. There it is. No, unmute. Unmute. Okay, there you go. Good. Well, I've already told them about the gift. I've given them the address to the gift so they can go pick that up. What are your final thoughts that you want to share with everyone today?
Well, like I said, I just want to leave them with one tip. Realizing that you don't have control over everything that happens to you in your life. It's very important to know and to find true happiness. It won't be possible until you can learn how you can turn all your negatives in your life into positive. It may be difficult to derive something positive from every situation, but if you look carefully enough, you may find something positive in everything.
Oh, I'm so glad you got back on to share that statement. Yes, finding something positive in everything, even though sometimes it might be difficult to see it at first, or it might not even be revealed to you at first, but always look for it. It is there. You will find something positive in everything if you open your mind to receive the gift of it. So thank you. It's just been a wonderful, and I want you to stay right where you are. And I just want to say thank you, everyone, for your patience today with a few of our technical difficulties. But I think you'll agree that the information was valuable and powerful. So thank you again so much, Vernessa. And to the rest of you, have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week on the Inspirational Businesswoman Show. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.